Hello, second grade. Did you enjoy the story of Paul Bunyan? The story was not actually called that, but that was what do we call that character that the whole story is about? The main character. That's right. The story's name was the Piney Ridge Snowstorm, but the main character was Paul Bunyan, and he had a special friend, his blue ox named, do you remember? That's right, Babe. And this was a tall tale, wasn't it? That means that everything was exaggerated. What was your favorite part? My favorite part was right here, the way they made Paul Bunyan his breakfast. Look at them. They look like they're skating on that skillet with bacon. So a tall tale is a story that's larger than life. It's exaggerated. It's meant to be funny. It's not meant to be serious, is it? And I hope you enjoyed reading it. Now we're going to move on to another story that has a really neat setting. A setting is the place that the story happens. And this story is going to be set in Holland. Now, if you remember, you learned about Holland in the first grade. Let's just read this little bit together so that you get used to where the setting will be in this story. So I'm going to actually tell you the page number. It is page 68 if you'd like to pause and get your book and read with me. Or maybe you can read with me right on the screen. Let's try. In Holland, tulips bloom in bright red, yellow, and orange colors. Dikes hold back the waves of the sea, and the blades of the windmills sing whoosh, whoosh, whoosh as they turn in the wind. Here is the dike right here. And I know my slide is going to get in my way, but right here, and you'll see it better in your story, and you'll see another picture of it on the title page right here. A dike is a wall that runs along water to hold the water back from the land. Okay, and we learned that in Holland, a lot of Holland would be actually covered in water if it were not for the dikes that's holding the sea back from flooding the land. So this story is called The Boy in the Dike. It's fiction, and it is adapted by Karen Wilt, meaning that she wrote it just for second graders to be able to read. And so this is what I want you to think about. Just like your book says, I want you to think about the problem in the story. This boy, Jan, has quite a problem. Wait, I know you're going to enjoy it. Wait till you find out. Boy, he does something very heroic. He's the main character in this story, and he does something heroic. Maybe you should sit here just for a moment and predict what Jan might have done. And I wonder if you can think of how the problem is solved. Think of what the problem might be and how Jan solves it. Well, that brings me to my next slide. Remember that good stories have great characters. Remember Paul Bunyan and Babe? What are some other characters that you've read this year that you enjoyed? We read a lot of stories this year. I wonder which one was your favorite. In this story, the little boy's name is Jan, and his grandma's name is Oma. That's what they called their grandmothers. Now that's funny to me because when I taught in Korea, you know I've taught in Korea, and that is what people called their moms and dads. Oma and Appa, they called their moms and dads. But apparently in the Netherlands, in the country of Holland, kids called their grandmas Oma. Good stories often, not always. Sometimes a story can happen and you really don't know where it's from or where it's happening. But a lot of good stories have very interesting settings, and this one wouldn't be the same story at all if it wasn't set in Holland near where the dike is holding the water back. I don't want to give too much away. I won't say any more about that. And then good stories have a problem, or sometimes more than one problems, and a solution. I guess we as readers just like to find out that something is turned back to right. So a lot of good stories have something to be solved. Now, I just want to go over the words that you could find at the end of the story. The first one is right here, F-L-O-O-D. You might know how to read that already. That says what? That's right, it says flood. Now, there's an O-O in here, and usually O-O says oo or but in this word, it's saying flood. That's not a problem, is it? Because we know that O says 4 sounds. Ah, O, oo, So this one time, just a couple words like this in our language, O will say I know that you know what a flood is. Look at the next one. This word, here's what it looks like whole. And when we split it into syllables, it has a closed syllable and then another closed syllable. What does that say? That's right, gravel. This reminds me of the swing underneath the swing set at our school. Gravel, little teeny stones in the ground. Here's another one. This one has consonant L-E at the end. What would that say? Read it all together. Rumbled. Very good, rumbled. Let's read it in a sentence, and then you'll know what it means, I think. The train rumbled down the tracks. That's kind of a noisy word, isn't it? Rumbled. Lots of sound is happening when something rumbles. I wonder what will rumble in your story. And then the last one has a closed syllable, and then A-G-E at the end of words. We know that E is going to make that G say J. And A-G-E usually says uj. Let's go ahead and try that word. Very well done. Village. And here is a picture of a little village. Uh-oh, I just covered it up with a slide. Now I have to pause for a second. There it is. Isn't that a lovely village? I don't think that's a village in the Netherlands. I just had to find a picture to make sure you knew what a village was. But you can see it's not a big city with lots of buildings. It's just a small little groups of buildings in a village. Well, you're going to get started with your story today, and I can't wait to find out what you think of it. I hope that you're having a great Monday and that you're having a wonderful week so far whenever you start viewing this and getting going with your work. And I also am praying for you and hoping that you are being kind to your families and cooperative and enjoying learning. I miss you. I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.